The next topic which we are going to touch upon is valuation of brands. And guys, in this particular topic, I'm going to focus on the kind of questions which come in the examination regularly. Rather than dwelling into all kind of questions, I'll be focusing on one type of questions which have recurred in the examination quite frequently. First of all, to start with, what do you mean by brand? Guys, brand means it is an identity of the entire organization. It is represented by the logo, by the kind of words which they use, by the letter, by the distinguishing sign which helps us identify that particular company. So if you look at this M, okay, look at this M. This clearly will indicate McDonald's to all of us because we are so used to seeing this M related to McDonald's, okay. It's very, very clear, okay. Then you see this logo. It is very, very clear that it's an LG logo, and in this logo, we are able to identify, LG with this logo without even looking at the name. If you see this uncle with white beard and white hair, he signifies KFC. Undoubtedly, we are very, very clear about this particular fact. So there are certain logos, certain images which quickly make us recall a particular product, a particular brand, and that is the value of the brand which is there. Okay. Now, wherever there's value, there's a premium which is paid for it. Yes, that is the reason why Apple products are so expensive. That is the reason why maybe LG products are very expensive. The reason is very simple, that they are not only charging for the product, but they are also charging for their brand value. Now, I give a very simple example to my students to explain this concept. You know, a shirt which you buy for say 2000 rupees, which belongs to say Burberry or Allen Solly or any other brand, that shirt can be available in market for say 1000 rupees also, but without the brand name. But you will prefer to buy it with the brand name because you have got your trust on the brand name. You trust that brand name blindly, and that is the reason why you will prefer buying the shirt along with the brand name rather than without the brand name. And that is the beauty of brand name. That is the significance of brand name. And that is why brand is so relevant in most of the businesses. Most of the organization, brand is one of the most important sources of income rather for any company, because brand signifies a big trust and a customer fan following. Okay, now there's one type of question which comes in the examination regularly relating to brand, which is the income based approach. And let us do that particular question. Let us see how that particular question is done in the examination. Okay, RS Limited furnishes the following information relating to previous 3 years. So 3 years information is given to you by RS Limited. 3 years information is given to you, last 3 years information. Rupees in lakhs, profit before interest and tax 75 lakhs, 85.25, 150, 2011, 2012, 2013. Loss on sale of assets. So in one of the year there was a loss on sale of asset, and obviously guys, it would have been adjusted in the PBIT. While computing the PBIT, it would have been reduced, it would have been already adjusted in the PBIT. 18, non-operating income. So some income was there which is in the nature of non-operating, which means that this has been resulted from non-trade investments. They are not trade related, business related income. This is non-operating income. So if there's any non-operating income, guys, typically it would not impact our brand value. Just like non-trade income will not impact our goodwill value, similarly non-operating income will not impact our brand value. So it will not impact. 12, 7.25 and 8. Inflation was 9% for 2012, 5% for 2013. So inflation rates have been given to you, 9% and 15%. If the capitalization factor, considering internal and external value drivers to brand, is 14, so the capitalization factor is given to you. Determine the brand value. You need to determine the brand value. Assume all inclusive future tax rate of 35%. The tax rate is 35%. You need to compute the brand value. Now there's something unique about this question which we are going to discuss during the course of our answer. Let's start illustration number 9. Illustration number 9. Computation of value of brand of RS Limited. Okay, we need to compute the value of brand, and we have been given the data pertaining to 3 years. Particulars. Two 2013, 2012, 2011. 3 years have been given to you. Okay. Okay, sir. So the first figure is PBIT, profit before interest and tax. 150, 85.25, 75. Okay. Now guys, this is the profit before interest and tax of the entire business. Now surprisingly, in the question, unbranded income has not been given to us. Non-branded income has not been given to us. The income which would have accrued to the company if brand were not there, if they were not selling a brand, that income is not given to us, unfortunately, in the question. Now when that income is not given to us, how will we compute the brand earnings? That is the question which is coming to our mind. So guys, in such a question where unbranded income is not given to us, there is an implicit assumption that the PBIT is brand earnings only. They have already reduced the amount of unbranded income. They have already reduced it. That is an assumption which we take and we carry forward with our question. I mean, you cannot do that thing in the examination. That's a unbranded income is not given, hence the question is half. We are not solving the question. No, that's the wrong approach. So we'll assume that unbranded income has been reduced while calculating the PBIT, and this is brand earning only. Based on that assumption, we'll calculate our value of brand. Okay, so this is the PBIT which is given to us, profit before interest and tax. Okay, next is loss on sale of asset. Now loss on sale of asset is an extraordinary item. It will happen once in the lifetime of a business, or very rare it will happen in the business, and it also doesn't signify the brand positioning. Brand position doesn't deter because of this loss. So we are going to adjust this loss. This has already been reduced while calculating PBIT. We'll add it back so that its effect is nullified. Loss on sale of asset. Loss on sale of asset, we are going to add it back to nullify its effect. It's 18 in 2013 and 2011 it is 3. We don't want its effect to be there in our calculation of brand earnings because this is a rare phenomenon. It's an extraordinary kind of an item which will not occur in future. Then next is non-operating income. Guys, we are going to reduce non-operating income from our brand earnings because it doesn't impact our brand. Only income from operations impact our brand. It's 8, 7.25, 12. That's the non-operating income. So if I adjust all of these income, then I'm going to get the earnings from brand. Okay. Brand earnings 1 plus 2 minus 3. 1 plus 2 minus 3. Okay, so now we'll calculate the brand earnings. 150 plus 18 minus 8. So this is the brand earnings for the 3 years. 160, 78 and 66. 160, 78 and 66 is the brand earnings. Okay. Now we'll adjust this brand earning with the inflation factor. Okay. Inflation factor. Now the catch is that in this particular question, inflation factor has not been given. It's the inflation percentage which is given in the question. So So we need to compute the inflation factor by the inflation percentages which are given in the question. Okay. We have been given the inflation percentages. Inflation rate has been given to us 2012 9%, 2012 9%, 2013 15%, 2011 it's not given. Using this information we need to compute the inflation factor. We need to compute the inflation factor. Okay, this is how we need to compute our inflation factor. Is what we need to compute now. Inflation rate is given to us 15% and 9% for 2013 and 2012 respectively. Now guys, inflation factor means what we multiply in the income of a current year to extrapolate it to the later year. What we multiply with the income of 2011 to compute the income of 2013. If the same income was earned in 2013, what would have been the income? That is the inflation factor. And similar purpose is resolved by the inflation percentage as well. So I'm plotting the inflation rate on this timeline. So this is a timeline which we have created. Okay. (2013, 2011, and 2012). Okay. So the inflation rate during 2013 is 15%. Inflation rate during 2012 is 12%. 9%. Okay. It is 9%. And for 2011 we have not been given the inflation rate. Now, a very simple technique of computing the inflation factor if we have been given the inflation percentages. Okay. Now, assume an income which has been earned 100 rupees in 2012. We have earned this income, we have made expenditure, we have earned revenue, everything we have done, and the net figure is 100 rupees which we have earned in 2012. 9% is the inflation rate in 2012. Now guys, of course this 9% which is the inflation rate in 2012, this would have been imbibed in 2012 itself. It would have been imbibed in 2012 figures itself. So 100 is after giving effect to 9% of inflation rate which is there in 2012, because if we have earned this income in 2012, then we would have earned the income after the inflation rate of 9%, and we would have incurred the expenses also after the 9% inflation in the expenses. So 9% inflation rate is already included while computing 100. Now we need to extrapolate this 100 to 2013. How much do we need to add in 100 to get to 2013 figures? The number which we need to add is 1.15. 1.15 is the number which if we add in 100, then we will get the figures as on 2013. So movement from 2012 to 2013 will entail an inflation factor of 1.15. So this 100, which is 100 in 2012, in 2013 it will be 115 after the inflation effect. So what is the inflation factor? Inflation factor is 1.15 for 2012. So whatever we earn in 2012, We are going to multiply it by 1.15 to get our number, similar number in 2013. What will be the future value in 2013? It will be the number multiplied by 1.15. That is the inflation factor. Now, considering 2012 to 2011, the income which has been earned in 2011, obviously, whatever would have been the inflation of that particular year, that would have already been incorporated in the numbers. So we need to ignore it. Okay. Now, 2011 numbers are to be first extrapolated to 2012. Then it should have been extrapolated to 2013. So there is a two-step inflation in 2011 numbers. There's a two-step inflation. First inflation is worth 9%. Second inflation is worth 15%. So when you talk about 9% inflation, then the factor is 1.09. And what is the factor while you are traveling from 2012 to 2013? It's 1.14. So if you want to take this leap from 2011 to 2013, what will be the inflation factor? It should be 1.09 multiplied by 1.15. This should be the inflation factor of 2011. A thing which is earned worth rupees 100 in 2011. First we'll travel it to 2012. When we'll travel it to 2012, it will become 119. When we'll move it to 2012, it will become 109, sorry, 109. And when we move from 2012 to 2013, it will be 109 multiplied by 1.15, which is 125.35. So 100 will become 109. 109 will become 125.35 if we add on the inflation factors of the 2 years. So this is how inflation factor is computed. So what is the inflation factor over here? 1.09 multiplied by 1.15, which is 1.2535, which is actually same to the number which we have derived over here. It's actually the same. It's absolutely the same. So 1.2535 is the inflation factor, which if multiplied by the revenue of 2011, then we'll get the revenue inflated up to the year 2013. So what is the inflation factor of 2011? Inflation factor of 2011 is 1.09 multiplied by 1.15 gives me a figure of 1.2535. And current year's inflation factor is always 1, because the current year's inflation effects are already taken into consideration while computing the current year's revenue or expenses, as the case may be. This is always 1. 2013 inflation factor is always 1. That is how inflation factors are computed. So if the question gives you inflation factor directly, nothing like it, it is best for us. It's really good for us if they give it to you directly. If they don't give you directly, then you need to compute the inflation factors using this method, guys. Okay. So let's come back to our question. Inflation factor of 2013 is 1. 2012 is 1.15. And 2011 is 1.2535. So now we have inflation adjusted brand earnings. What are the inflation adjusted brand earnings? Inflation adjusted brand earnings are 160, 78 multiplied by 1.15, 89.7, 66 multiplied by 2535, 82.731. This is the inflation adjusted brand earning. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put weights to these numbers only if ascending or descending order is there. Ascending order is there. Yes, ascending order is there. Least, second least, highest. Ascending order is there. Ascending order. So can I put the weights? Yes, I can put the weights. Highest weight to the nearest year. Nearest year 2013. Highest weight to the nearest year. 3, 2, 1. Highest weight to the nearest year. Okay. This will give me the weighted product. Eighth is the weighted product. $160. $480. What is the weighted average? 179.4 plus 82.731 plus 480 divided by 6. 123.69. What is the weighted average? Weighted average is 123.69. So this is before tax. Now I'm going to reduce tax in it. Tax at the rate of 35%. Guys, the process remains the same. Okay, the steps remain the same. Once you understand the steps, then you can reproduce it in any question. It's only some bit of tweaking or twisting which happens, otherwise the step will remain the same. Tax at the rate of 35%. So 123.69 multiplied by 35% gives me a figure of 43.29. And what is the remainder value? Remainder value is brand earning post tax. Okay. Brand earning post tax is 80.40. Brand earning post tax. Now, very important, very important. Please understand what is given as the capitalization rate. Okay, it is not the usual capitalization rate. It says that if the capitalization factor considering internal and external value drivers to brand is 14, this is not percentage. This is a multiple, which means 14 times. This is a multiple. So whenever percentage is not given to you in the capitalization factor, then you don't have to divide it. You have to multiply it. This is a multiple which is given to you, guys. Please note, this is a multiple which is given to you known as capitalization factor. What is the capitalization factor? It's 14 times. It's not in percentage form. Don't assume that it has got percentage in it. Okay, don't assume that. So value of brand will be 11 divided by 12. So 80.4 multiplied by 14. Multiplied by 14. Okay. So 11 multiplied by 4. 11 multiplied by 12. Gives me a figure of 1125.6. The figures are in lakhs. Rupees lakhs. 1125.6. So what is the value of the brand? Value of brand is 1125.6 lakhs. 1125.6 lakhs. 1125.6 lakhs. So let's conclude, guys. Hence, the value of brand of RS Limited. Hence, the value of brand of RS Limited is computed as 1125.6 lakhs. Is computed as 1125.6 lakhs. This is the value of brand. Okay, yes, this was illustration number 9 for all of you. Let's come on to illustration number 10. Yes, sir. From the following information, determine the possible value of brand as per the potential earnings method. Again, income method, we need to compute the value of the brand. Rupees in lakhs. Profit before tax is given to you. There are two cases under which you have to compute your answer. Okay, case A, case B. Profit before tax is given to you. Income tax is given to you. Profit after tax is given. Tangible fixed asset is given. What is the value of tangible fixed asset? So this business has tangible fixed asset. This business has intangible fixed asset. Both the assets are there in this business. Okay. Identifiable intangible other than brand. Oh, so this particular business doesn't only have brand as an intangible, but also has other intangible assets, okay, apart from brand, like maybe copyright, maybe patent, maybe trademark. Other intangible other than brands are also there. So, what is the weighted average cost of capital? Weighted average cost of capital is given to you. 15% is the weighted average cost of capital in case A. Case B, it's not given to you. Expected normal return on tangible assets. Weighted average cost of capital 15%, normal spread 5%. So what is this? This is, guys, the return which is expected on the tangible assets. So return which is expected on the tangible assets. So there are two kind of returns, has been split into two parts. Returns from tangible assets, return from intangible asset. Why is question giving us all this? We'll get to know about it. Just understand what is line by line meaning of the question first. Okay. So expected normal return on tangible assets. So on tangible asset, what is the return? 15% plus normal spread of 5%. 5% means we are increasing due to some risk, due to some risk factor. We are increasing the return on normal tangible assets. The total return is expected to be 20%. So 20% is the total return which is expected. In case of case B, we have been given a number form, 6 lakh rupees. Okay. Appropriate capitalization factor for intangibles. So the capitalization factor for intangibles is given as 25% and 25% in case A and case B respectively. You need to compute the value of brand in this particular. Okay, let's compute the value of brand. In this case. Again, little bit of tweaking which the question has done, little bit of extra information which the question has given in our question. So illustration number 10. Computation of value of brand. Okay. So we need to compute the value of brand. And this is case A. So we'll compute case by case. Okay, first we'll deal with case A, then we'll deal with case B. Both the cases will be dealt with one by one. So why can't we deal with both the cases together? You will get your answer in a short while. There's a reason why we can't get both the cases solved together. So particulars, amount and amount. Okay, so we are dealing with case A first, then we'll deal with case B. So case A first, case B afterwards. Case A. Case A starts with profit after tax. Profit after tax is given to you of the entire business. Profit after. This is the first part. Profit after tax is 2700. 2700 rupees in lakhs. So profit after taxes 2700, 2700, case A and case B respectively. Yes, sir. Then guys, this is the total profit which has been earned by the organization. Then it is the total profit which is earned by the organization. Now, naturally, if we reduce from this total profit, the profit which is derived from, say, tangible assets, okay, and the profit which is derived from intangible assets other than brand, we need to exclude these two profits from this profit to get our profit from brand. Okay, so what are we doing is we are going to reduce profit from tangible assets first. Profit from tangible asset. So we'll reduce profit which is derived from tangible fixed asset. Tangible fixed asset is 10,000. 10,000 multiplied by 20% is the 10,000 multiplied by 20% is the profit from tangible fixed asset, which is 2,000. Okay. So 2,000 is attributed to tangible fixed asset. So we are reducing it. And profits which are attributable to profit from intangible other than brand. Profit from intangible other than brand. So apart from brand, whatever is the intangible, we need to reduce profit from that also. So identify intangible other than brand is 1500 lakhs. Okay. And 1500 lakhs will reap a return of 25%, which is the capitalization factor for tangible. It's 1500 multiplied by 25%. 1500 multiplied by 25% gives me a figure of 375 and 375. Okay. So this is the profit from brands. This is the profit from brands. So 2700 minus 2000 minus 375. 325 is the profit from brands. Did you see how the question gave you the similar information in a different way? In the earlier questions, question gave you information like, branded income less unbranded income is equal to earning from brand. This is the way in which the question gave you information in the previous question. But in this question, the question gave you a profit, total profit of the company, profit derived from tangible fixed asset, profit derived from intangible other than brands. After reducing these two numbers, we'll get profit from brands. So the first task is always to compute brand earnings. What is the profit which is related to brand? That is the first task in every question. The way of computing it might be little different from question to question. Okay, sir. Fifth. Now we have got the profit. Okay. Now we need the capitalization rates. Please tell me if there is any profit tax related info. Okay, tax has already been deducted. Profit after tax is given. Okay, there's no tax adjustment which is required to be made. Perfect. So now capitalization factor is required to be taken over here. Now guys, there's a catch in capitalization factor. Okay, you need to capitalize the value of the brand. Okay, first way is to capitalize it using the capitalization factor which is given for intangibles. Intangibles include brand, copyright, trademark, patent, everything. But this is a common capitalization factor which is given for all the intangibles, which is 25%. Okay. So we can compute the answer using capitalization factor of intangibles, which is 25%. The second option is we can use the weighted average cost of capital also, which is what is expected out of our business on a weighted average basis. Everyone, be it debt, be it equity, be it preference shares, what are they expecting from our business on a weighted average basis? This can also be taken as an appropriate capitalization factor. So both of them can be taken as appropriate capitalization factor. And that is the reason why I have, whenever this question comes in the examination, you need to compute your answers in both the ways. Okay. 15%, 25%. Okay. This is the weighted average cost of capital. And this one is the intangible capitalization factor. So you need to compute two answers in this question. Two answers will be required to be computed in this question, and that is the reason why case A and case B cannot be done together. First you need to complete case A, then you will come on to case B. This is the reason why both of them cannot be done together. That is the thing. Okay. Now we can compute value of the brand. So 4 divided by 5. 325 divided by 15%, which is 2166.67. This gives me a figure of 1300. Okay. So these are the two value of brands which have been computed. Let's conclude, guys. The value of brand, the value of brand, comma, using weighted average cost of capital, the value of brand, comma, using the weighted average cost of capital and the capitalization factor for intangibles, the capitalization factor for intangibles is computed as rupees 2166.67 lakhs and 1300 lakhs respectively. 2166.67 lakhs and 1300 lakhs respectively. So this is how we'll be computing the value of brand in both the cases, case A and case B. Okay, sir, got it. So this is the value of brand computation in case A. Okay, now we'll compute for case B. And guys, case B is very simple. You can do it yourself. So just pause the video for 2 minutes over here. Do case B and then come back and check your answer. Okay. The computation is going to be really the same. Case B. In case B, we need only one column, that's particulars and amount. Okay. Profit before tax. Case B, so what is profit before tax? It is 15. Tax is 3. Profit after tax is 12. Okay. Profit after tax is 12. Then again, guys, from this computation we are going to compute the profit from tangible fixed assets. Profit from tangible fixed assets. In the question it is given as a number 6 lakh itself. Okay, there's no percentage which is given, which so that we can write 6 directly. Next is profit from intangible assets other than brand. Profit from intangible assets other than brand. So the profit in identifiable intangible are 10. 10 multiplied by 25%. Okay, 10 multiplied by 25% gives me a figure of 2.5. So this is 2.5. 10 multiplied by 2.5% gives me a figure of 2.5. So now this is the profit which is attributable to profit from brands. This is 3 minus 4 minus 5. 3 minus 4 minus 5 gives me a figure of 3.5. So the profit which is attributable to brand, profit which is earned because of brand is 3.5. That is the profit from brand. Okay, now let's add the capitalization factor to it. What is the capitalization factor, guys? Now let's see the question. Guys, in this case, capitalization factor weighted average cost of capital is not given to us, so that confusion is resolved. We need not compute two answers in this particular case. What have we been given? We have been given the appropriate capitalization factor on intangibles. Only one capitalization rate is given to us. We are very fortunate. Okay, no confusion. 25% will be the capitalization rate. So there will be only one value of brand. So value of brand is equal to 6 divided by 7. 6 divided by 7 is value of brand. 3.5 divided by 25%, value of brand is 14 lakh rupees. Value of brand is 14 lakh rupees. Let's conclude our answer. Hence, the value of brand is computed as rupees 14 lakhs. Hence the value of brand is computed as rupees 14 lakhs. This is the value of brand which has been computed. So this was illustration number 10 for all of you.